Welcome to the Smoke Break. We are here on Shady Pines Radio every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m., as well as Pretty Dope Experience. This is going to be our first video podcast, so I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. We have some really awesome guests, really awesome people, so can't wait to get it started. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Amanda Lynn Deal.
Hi, friends.
Carissa Dez.
Hello.
And Belinda Carroll.
Hi.
We did it.
Yay. We're all here.
We are all here. So it's Pride Month.
Hell yeah.
And specifically, Portland Pride Weekend.
Yes.
Ooh, Portland Pride Weekend.
Yes.
Ayo.
Wow, okay.
I'm leaving.
I didn't even know that.
I'm going to the Dyke March right after this.
Hell yeah. We love dykes.
Well, excellent. Well, hopefully there's some stuff that you can tell me about. So you're one of the founders, if not the founder of the founder of the Portland Queer Comedy Festival. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Okay. I founded the festival in 2017. It's essentially 5 venues, and then we bring 50 comics in from all over.
Okay.
And then I have to take my sunglasses off. And then we bring 50 comics in, and then we have 30 shows over 5 days.
Hell yeah.
I
got to go to that first one. It was a lot of fun.
It's super fun. And then we have after parties and all sorts of stuff. And then I think coming back in from the pandemic, we're going to change it. Everything's going to change, but it's going to be amazing.
Awesome.
So watch for that, but like
It's coming back.
not until people are ready for it to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So probably like next year, I'm thinking, unless something crazy happens, but which
But
Par for the course.
Yeah. The festival is really, really cool. It was the first multi-stage, multi-day festival in the United States that was comprised of queer performers.
Wow.
With the exception of the one straight show. Which
I was on that. No longer straight. So
You're gay now.
where we're at now. That's how long it's been.
I made people gay. That's what happened.
That's the
Be
goal,
careful
right?
on that show.
Come near me, you'll
yeah.
be gay within
The
a year.
Straight for Now show.
Yeah,
Straight
it's
for
like
now show.
I don't understand why Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door, because they could just like throw a big party and just invite
Yeah.
people in, and then
Yeah,
they'd be
there
like,
you go.
"Oh,
We'll see show.
Yeah.
I don't know how gay I am, but for the parties, I'll just like."
So you've been a performer for about how long? As far as like performing stand up.
I was like since birth.
Cannot turn it off.
I started performing when I was like in elementary school. They started pulling me out of class to get me to do, before they had like music classes and stuff, like when you were real young,
Mhm.
And anyway, but I've been doing stand up since 2008.
Nice.
Okay, 2008.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, and I think that you and Des could probably both talk about this a little bit. What's kind of been your experience about being queer in entertainment?
Oh, I mean, where do you even start with that? When I first started performing, in the 90s at a underage gay club called the City Nightclub,
Mhm.
and the City was owned by Laney Swardlow, and there was several iterations of it. And the iteration that I went to was on 13th and Burnside in Southwest, where Harvey Milk is.
Okay.
So it was right at the tip of the Burnside Triangle.
Okay.
And so it was an underage gay club. And then Friday and Saturday nights at midnight, they had a show.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
that show happened every week. And so I was one of the performers. And then I ended up getting a title and stuff. And so I performed like literally all the time. So I grew up in this queer enclave of, and then at that time,
Queer Enclave sounds
I like
sweet.
that.
that's my new band.
Yeah.
It's like, do you guys have swords or?
Yeah. Chainmail shirts.
Yes.
That sounds pretty sweet.
How do I sign up for that?
That's right. Let's do it right now. Okay. So
We're a
you
band
look
now.
great in a chainmail shirt. I'm not objectifying you. Just know. But yeah. So I grew up in that. So I grew up, doing drag, and I grew up singing, and I grew up like in this club, and then also up and down Harvey Milk Street, Stark Street back then. And, and the gay clubs were really bustling here. So anyway, so my point being is that I didn't start performing for straight people until I started stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that
then
was
it's
like a completely different experience. Cause
real straight.
Yeah. Cause I was in drag clubs. So like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and I was in Texas. And
Oh wow.
yeah. And luckily I had a couple of friends that are still really good friends of mine that started with me who were queer too. So we were kind of like a band of queers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But that's how I started getting to doing producing of shows, because I had all this experience from the City Nightclub, and then I started stand up, and then there were no gay shows in Texas, like in Austin at that time, because this is like 2008, 2009.
This is before they were weird.
Yeah.
No, they were still claiming weird back then.
Okay.
They claimed it anyway.
The gay community was really strong in Austin. There was just nobody like doing stand up specifically, because being a stand up obviously means talking about your life. And as a gay person, if you're talking about your life and you are on stage, then you become a target. So you have to be
Might not be
really
safe.
careful. Yeah. I mean, you have to be really careful. Like, I really admire all the comics that came before me as far as being an openly queer comic, because there's a lot of comics that performed way earlier than I did that really put their lives on the line
Totally,
to like
yeah.
even talk about it, which is why I'm so passionate about stand up, is because it's the one thing where there's not metaphor. So you don't have like, you know, you write a song and like, oh, I love you, and like whatever, and that's great, but like, is that specifically like super gay?
Yeah.
But if
You
somebody's
could love
like,
anybody.
but if you're at a comedy club, then you're talking about every part of being gay. So
Mhm.
it's like, you know, through talking about your life. And so it's like, anyway.
People can't assume that you're gay. They know because you're
I'm
telling the
like, I'm
stories.
gay.
Of, like,
No,
dating.
really.
That was my
It's like-
opening line.
Yeah.
So, but so I grew up in a very queer centric world. And I say grew up, I mean, come out and like whatever, not like physically. And so I grew up Southern Missionary Baptist. And so then I came out, and then I went into like Queerland, and then I just lived there for a long time.
Is that like a city or?
I wish. God.
Yeah, I would
Let's make
definitely
Queerland. Are you out there?
It's
Let's
like
do
a
it.
theme park?
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
Oh,
Roller
We
yeah.
got a band and a theme park so far.
Queer Enclave.
If I ever started a theme park and it was called Queerland, people would be like, God.
It would be so
Belinda.
popular. It
Oh
would be
my
so
God,
popular.
It would be. But yeah, so that's my Dolly Parton theme park
Yes.
idea.
Dollywood.
My Dollywood's Queerland,
Yeah.
and we all just are gay. That's the tagline, and we're all just gay.
Yeah.
3 Ys.
You have to read it like that.
Three
yeah.
Ys, yeah,
You have to
yeah.
read it and say it like that. Okay,
Good
yeah, no,
times.
that's a really interesting experience. Like, not a lot of people, you know, like, I guess, like, you know, having been somebody who like came out recently, it's like coming out in Portland, I'm just kind of like, you know, nervous. And there's like, you know, being in the rap scene, it's like there's definitely people who are like, oh, I'm not talking to that guy. So it's like I have that rejection there,
Sure.
but I can't imagine, you know, the fear of rejection and that would go into coming out in a place like you know, Texas. So
Yeah, it's
Oh,
easy
yeah.
for us in Portland,
yeah,
But-
yeah,
Texas.
I
Like
yeah.
Austin, I feel like most people there are accepting of queerness, but outside of that, it's
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it was. I
not the
mean, the
same.
thing is that like that's where I lived in Dallas, and then I lived in Austin.
Mhm.
I lived in
Mhm.
Dallas for only a year. And like Dallas, so I grew up here. So I came out here, but my mom was from West Virginia. It's a whole story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I grew up within like a West Virginia family, but we were here. And
Yeah.
this is like, you know, the 90s or whatever. And then when I moved to Texas, like, so I kind of knew what I was in for as far as like living in Dallas. I was like, okay, I know these people, so I know how to deal with them. And sort of, yeah, but at the same time, like, I wasn't comfortable enough I wasn't comfortable enough to be out at work
Yeah.
until
Sure.
like way later. I did come out like after like I was there for like 8 or 9 months, but I really did like to hide it. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's the first experience I had with that, because I came out really young and I was always very politically active, and so I've always
Sure.
been a very like aggressively out person.
Mhm.
And so yeah, and so that was really, really uncomfortable, like learning how to like live within that
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Definitely.
So I can
Yeah. Des, what about you? What's been your sort of experience, you know, either coming out or being in a place where it's more comfortable coming out?
I've been out for a long time. Like, my parents found out I was gay when I was very young, and I came out in Walla Walla, Washington. Very
Yeah.
conservative place, and I wasn't scared at all. Maybe I should have been more afraid. But yeah, in high school, I had girlfriends, and everybody knew about it, and I was proud of it. And guys enjoyed it. They were like, "That's hot." So
Yeah.
it wasn't
made it
as
weird
difficult for
for
me.
you.
Oh,
I-
teenage
That's
boys.
crazy.
Made it
It was
about
almost
Nice.
easier for me. Yeah.
Hey.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I guess publicly, not everybody knew that I was gay or queer for the longest time. Like when I started live streaming, I was married and I had 2 kids, so people just assumed that I was straight. But after I got divorced, I started slowly telling people about, or like saying, "Oh, this woman's hot," or "I'm kind of gay," or whatever. And then
So real subtle.
Yeah, like slowly.
Dropping little hints.
Yep. And then I came out as non-binary in November of last year.
Okay.
And I didn't, say it out loud or like on live stream or post about it or anything like that. But I put it in my profile and I was like, if people see it, they see it. I don't think it's important for me to even talk about it. But then I came to the realization that maybe it is important for me to talk about it.
Sure.
I hate saying this, but to normalize talking about your queerness,
Yeah.
and so that other
Why
people
do you
feel
hate-
more
Why do you
comfortable.
hate saying that?
Yeah, I was curious.
Because I feel like people say it a lot. It's normalized. Normalized is a normalized term.
Normalized has been over-normalized.
Yeah, it's cliche at this point. But yeah, I've always been somebody who wants to be open about who I am so that other people feel more comfortable being open with who they are.
Yeah, I had a
So
friend
I'm like,
that-
hey guys, I'm so gay and it's so awesome and I'm so happy to be gay and queer in every way possible. I'm also pansexual, so
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that I'm the gayest that you could be, but
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Definitely have the dopest scarf here. I will
Yeah.
give you that.
it
I had a
helps.
friend that told me, I love this, I think about it all the time, and he said it's the job of the artist to be your true self so other people feel comfortable being themselves. So
yeah.
artists
I
are
agree with
weird, but like we
Mhm.
inspire people who probably wouldn't be comfortable being themselves, but they see, us performing or just being ourselves and being out in the world, and they're like, you know what? Like, I really relate to that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. But
Yeah.
seeing you
I agree
doing
with
that makes me more comfortable, inspires me to be more of myself. So
Yeah.
hell yeah, be yourself.
Absolutely.
Whatever
Oh, yeah,
it
for
is,
sure.
be it.
So just out of curiosity, like the non-binary portion of that, that's something that I know less about. It's still, I feel like, is kind of like a new thing in the queer community, or at
Mhm.
least it's something that's being more talked about. So
Oh, it's
more so
not
talked
new.
about now. Yeah, I was
We'll
gonna
get
say,
into it in a second.
I think it's
Yeah.
been, I think it's been around for a while, but as far as like being talked about or being recognized, so what was your sort of journey on that?
Well, I've always kind of pushed the boundaries, when it came to gender. I was on a boys' baseball team when I was
Oh,
8,
nice.
my dad's
Sweet.
baseball team, and he was like, you need to be on a softball team with the girls. Like, these guys are going to be so much better than you. And I took that as,
Challenge.
a challenge. I was like, challenge accepted. I'm going to be on this boys' team. I'm going to try out. And I was one of the best people on the team. But then I was like, you know what? I would rather be around girls
Yeah.
as these guys stink.
I'm better than them.
No
but
offense,
they're
no
terrible.
offense, but
No, they do. They do. It's
I
fair.
was I was 8 when I was on the
Oh,
boys'
that's
baseball
awesome.
team.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
Boys are stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't shower.
Especially not that.
Yeah,
Oh my
no.
God.
And then when I got a little bit older in my 20s, my dad is very traditional, and he would say, like, the boys come outside, let's drink beers, let's barbecue. And I would say, hey, can I come out there and drink too? And they're like, oh no. He was like, oh no, the women stay inside and drink wine and talk about books. I was like, I don't like
Stop doing
wine.
that. Just stop
Or
it.
books.
So,
Uh,
so he was always getting mad at me about that. But I've always been kind of pushing the limits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like people called me a tomboy when I was younger. I didn't
Same.
look like this. I like wore boys' clothes and everything, and my hair was always fucked up. They kind of look like yours.
Hey,
It was
thank
like,
you.
but yours looks better because you actually brush it, and I didn't brush it. But it was like this. Sorry, I didn't mean to say.
It's fine. Everybody can finally see my hair, and it's just like
I
fucked
feel
up.
bad now. No, not fucked up. Mine looks fucked up. Yours looks good. Mine was a bad afro.
Bad afro would be a good band.
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
true.
Queer Enclave.
Queer Enclave opening for Bad Afro.
Yeah.
We got a tour. We're gonna be playing at Queerland.
I appreciate you sharing just that part of your story with us because I noticed that your profile said they them, and that was something that I always wanted to respect. But it's something that there's not really a place for me to ask about. So I'm glad that we have a space like this where we can just kind of understand where everybody's story starts and not necessarily ends, but continues from there. We're gonna take a real quick commercial break.
I like listening to Shady Pines Radio. I'm a big fan of Shady Pines, and I like that about myself. And I'm a big fan of the DJs at Shady Pines. Yeah, well, I like all the DJs so much, but I especially like Beat Salad with Nathan O'Brien. I'm a big fan of Beat Salad. I like when they go beat, 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 beat salad. A lot of great music on there. They got a lot of good beats. And there's actually no salad involved. Just a little disappointed to find out that it's just beets and not salad because I didn't have any lunch. It's a good show. It's on Beat Salad on Shady Pines Radio. Beat, 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 beat salad.
That was horrifying. Welcome back to the smoke break. We are not playing that commercial anymore. I don't know who it's for. I'm sure their show is amazing. Holy crap. I'm your host.
Radio.
I just feel like I probably need more therapy now. And I kind of needed therapy before. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. Well, I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with the mandolin deal.
Hello.
Carissa Dez.
I'm Belinda Carroll, who's been told to sit forward.
And talking to the microphone.
And also talking to the microphone.
So I guess on this part of it, I wanted to talk to all three of you just about, let's call it aggressively straight people invading spaces. Listen, all right, you already got it. Please take it from here.
First off, the Jehovah's Witnesses literally will knock on your door. So that's about as aggressively straight as you can possibly be. They will tell you that your lifestyle is wrong while at your door. Do you understand? Like invading your house. And then they're like, you have a gay agenda. I'm like, I'm too lazy to have a gay agenda.
You want the agenda, buddy?
My agenda is a nap. That's my agenda.
Just trying to start a band and open a theme park, girl.
Yeah.
I just want to start a band and have a theme. What?
I was just saying, do you play bass, bro?
Play bass.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What were you talking about?
Aggressively straight people invading spaces.
This is the thing, is that I just moved to Los Angeles, and my erroneous assumption was that moving to Los Angeles and being a Zoftig lady would be that the bro man would leave alone. And that has not been my experience. But the thing is that they just come and sit at your table. And then you say, why are you sitting here? And then they say,
because I'm straight.
Because you're alone. And I'm like, yeah, that's the whole point.
I want to.
And so, but they'll just like come and hit on you, even though you are actively not looking
so
for
is
that
this
to
like
happen.
in a gay bar, like you're sitting by yourself in a gay bar, or is this just like in a bar in general, just like they're invading spaces no matter where it is, or is it they're going to a space where you should feel safe? I mean, you should feel safe in every space, but I mean, like when were you?
This is all of the bars.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
When I went to the last time I went to the gay bar, there was a dude who I think just is like trashed. Because it was like a Saturday, and I think that he might have been identified as gay if I would have talked to him, but I did not talk to him. But instead, he just grabbed me and started kissing my cheeks.
Whoa.
It's COVID. Like, what are you doing right now?
First
I
off,
don't want
not
your
cool.
drunk face in my cheeks. You know.
Also, I don't want a stranger kissing my cheek.
Yeah. Even people I know. I'm
Or
sorry.
even
it
in
was
my
my-
bubble. Like, if you get this close to me, I might punch you.
And
it was
like
my-
it's
it
just
was my
a
cheeks.
reaction.
It was
Yeah,
both the
on that
cheeks. It was
Yeah.
And
You're
I
either
was like,
European or
I don't know if people
Just an
think because
asshole.
I'm fat, I'm cuddly. So they're like, oh, well, she's cute. I'll kiss her on the cheeks. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
definitely had people, just men especially, just kind of like insert themselves in conversations. Yeah, gross.
Sorry.
I mean, like me and my friend were at a bar. It was like a karaoke bar, and it was like in Vancouver, and it was definitely like an aggressively like I ain't gay kind of bar. But her and I like went to a different like alcove of a closed business, so we could talk like to each other and not be harassed or be in a loud space. And he's walked over, he's like, "You're too pretty to be alone." I was like, "Ew, that's disgusting." And then his response was like, "I just got out of jail." I was like, "So, are you flirting with me?"
You know just what to say.
I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" But he
I bet
just
you're real
sounds very
choosy
smooth.
right now.
yeah, for real. It's just like, what the fuck? We purposely went away. It's not even like we were in the common area. We went specifically away and just
Yeah.
like jumped in there, just be like, "How's it going, sweet cheeks?" It's like worse now. It's going
Worse,
worse
yeah,
now.
yeah,
You ruined
bad.
it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's have such a nice day before this.
Yeah.
You've ruined everything. The thing is with that is that for some reason they always think that they're enhancing your life. in some way.
Yes.
And I don't know
Yeah, they
why.
think
It's like
you need
hecklers,
them.
right? Where
They
they're
think
just
Yeah.
like, I'm
Helping.
helping.
that you need
No,
them.
I have never in my life been walking down the street and saw somebody talking to another person that I did not know. I think to myself, you know what they need? My
Me.
opinion right now. They need 100%. They just need all of my opinions, and we will.
Maybe I should hit on them. They're both crying and hugging.
Maybe I should kiss them on the cheek. Maybe that'll help. They look sad.
I should kiss their cheeks.
Oh, I just heard the word cancer. I'm sure she could use some cheering up.
Yeah, right.
What?
I can't cure cancer, but I can hit on you.
No, that would be a really gross pickup line.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
that.
in Vancouver,
You,
Washington.
you look like you need to be
Although,
mansplained too.
I do-
Hey, girl.
I do know that early blues songs are responsible for like 90% of the cheesy pickup lines that exist.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Because I've listened to just a
It's
ton.
the Democrats' fault.
Oh yeah, I've just listened to a ton of like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s blues through my
Oh,
life.
blues.
you
I
know?
thought you said blue, like blue as in
Yes,
the...
Oh.
it's Biden's fault.
He probably was doing that.
Street
back in the day.
harassment. Do something about it. No, but blues songs, because that, like, you listen to one and he'll be like, "Hey, lady, did you fall from the sky? Because you sure are starry," or whatever.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Can I have that?
Sure, and then I'm like,
Try that one next time you go to the bar.
"Hey, lady," and then
I see you alone. Bum, bum.
So I'm gonna have this guitar with me.
You think I have this bass? Hold on a second.
Put on the sunglasses. There you go.
What about you, Des? What's been your experience?
With dating in particular, I was going to talk about clubs, but I want to talk more about, like the online presence of men. A lot of times people will just contact me on Instagram and think that I want to talk to them. And then they keep saying she, her. I'm like, I told you it's they, them. And they're like, well, I don't really know anything about that. And I'm like, well, it's an easy Google. And they want me to explain to them what it means, what non-binary means.
They need you to educate them.
And then one guy, he's probably watching or like gonna listen to this.
Good.
So we'll talk too much
Good.
shit.
Yeah.
Say
No,
something.
Okay. And he said after you get with me, you won't have to worry about that stuff.
Ew.
anymore.
You know what?
You won't have to
I
worry
want
about
him to watch
queerness.
this.
Okay.
I'm gonna have sex with you.
We
and
know
you're
who you
gonna
are.
change your mind.
No.
I'm gonna
You
go
won't be
harder
queer
the
anymore
direction I
after
was
I
going.
get done with you, girl.
Wow.
And I was
I'm
like,
telling you what.
it's they them, not girl. Okay.
It's say them if you're nasty. So this is the thing, is that this is what drives me nuts, is that I am gay for the most part, right? But I'm gay for the most part, but then at the same time, like there's been dudes I've been attracted to, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? I don't do it. You want to know why? That shit. That's why.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and you just go,
Gotta deal with that.
oh, I'm not your trophy. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what I did last night?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Got
So
one.
it's just like,
Have
yeah,
sex with a lesbian. It's like, okay.
yeah, I know you did.
This person
Yeah.
was so queer.
Yeah.
After I got through with them, they're straight as an arrow, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of my partners have been trans men who've transitioned.
Mhm. Okay, fair
and
enough.
so I am attracted to masculinity, but man, that's the stuff that I'm just like,
Not the
And-
toxic kind.
Exactly.
oh yeah, and also don't Instagram me ever,
Yeah.
ever. Like don't ever do that.
Don't at me.
Don't
Yeah,
at me.
don't have me.
Don't DM me. Don't like send me a WhatsApp. Are you doing something to yourself? Like that's gross. Something
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
happened to me.
Yeah,
And,
no, that's...
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you have a WhatsApp, just don't be gross.
Yeah,
On it.
what's up with that? Okay.
What's up with that, everybody?
What's the deal? Okay.
What's the deal with WhatsApp?
So for me, the last straw where I it came out as non-binary was because men kept calling me lady or ma'am. And for me, it's so cringe for some. I would rather be called sir or mister than ma'am, honest. That's just me.
Yeah.
But that was the last straw for me. And people still like call me sweetie and like all those little terms of endearment when I have never met them. It's like, don't call me sweetie if I don't know, if I've never met you in real life before.
And even then,
Yeah.
and even then,
maybe it's a consensual situation.
Well, yeah,
Like,
right.
hey, do you mind if I call you sweetie sometimes?
Yeah. Well, it's like those are
just
terms
like sugar. No, I'm just kidding.
those are terms of endearment, and it's like if I don't know you, like you can't endear me. I don't fucking know you.
yeah,
You can't endear me.
yeah. Very strong
I got
stance
3
on
names.
endearment.
You can't endear me.
What about you, Amanda? What's been your experience with hating men? I mean,
Oh boy.
We can talk about this all day. We can talk about this all day.
We don't have enough time.
But we
for
like
that.
you. We like you, though.
Enough
You're
time
really
for that.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, just like I don't like the condescending of the terms of endearment, but also just like dudes thinking that they know better, they know more, and being that aggressively, like stand-up comedies, there's a lot of aggressively straight men, or just like men lying to themselves, whatever. But for sure. But also, like, I mean, Zane and I had an experience where we were doing a comedy show, and there were dudes, and I headlined, and he featured, and they were like, "Oh, how do we get into comedy? I want to do comedy," and they were only talking to Zane, and Zane was like, "Talk to her. She's been doing comedy a lot longer. Talk to Amanda." And they
she
would
writes all my
not-
jokes.
Yeah, which is not real, but we would like riff and like help each other write jokes. But I mean, he was as like there's men that do put like a spotlight and make sure that your voice is heard, but there's so many times where I've been trampled on by other dudes who would be like, "Oh, I've been doing comedy for 2 years," and I'm standing right there and they wouldn't even acknowledge me. So it's like there is that inserting themselves in a conversation, like other male comics or like dudes who want to do comedy that will refuse to talk to me about it because I'm a woman, so I don't know what it's like to talk about my small dick or whatever.
Some
I
guys
will
don't
tell
think that
you.
women are funny. But
Yeah, I don't know. I heard
The
it the
most
other night.
dangerous person to me as a female comic, female-ish comic, is a straight white man who's never done comedy but it's always wanted to.
Yeah,
Because for
yeah.
some reason
My
they
friends
like
tell
I
me
don't
I'm
like the sound
funny.
of that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Those
they
guys suck, honestly.
they will 100% get so mad that I've been doing comedy for so long, and they're like, "How long you been?" They get mad about it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why?" Because they never had the guts to
And
do
they
it.
feel like they
Took
should
me
have what
years
you
to
have
realize
for
that.
no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Well, I don't have that." I'm like, "Yeah, you didn't get up at a mic for like 1,000 times."
But I
a
could if I
day for-
did. I'm the
Yeah,
reason
the
I'm not
cis
famous.
white
'Cause
male
I just
ego is
don't-
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but because those guys are like very entitled and very douchey, and I think it's the same guys that DM you. I think it's all the same guys.
I think so too.
Yep.
No, for real.
The exact same
We
guys.
narrowed it down. We narrowed it down.
Thank you.
It's 10.
Mhm.
The exact
Boil
same
it
10
down.
guys.
It's the exact same 10 guys. It's just 10 douchebags all ruining it for the rest of you.
There's only 10 left.
Only 10 of us. So.
Only
Such an
10.
optimistic number. Such an optimistic number.
I'm just saying, if you're blaming your shit on a woman, then you may want to get therapy.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Some
But
incel
although,
vibes.
really, we were talking about this before the show, everybody needs to get therapy.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
care who you are. If you're watching this right now, you need therapy.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I'm so perfect." No,
Nope.
you're not.
Nope.
The
You're
pandemic,
singing it more than you know,
the
sweetie.
pandemic ruined everybody just a little bit. And I was saying that I recently started taking antidepressants for the first time in a long time. And I started doing talk therapy recently. And a lot of the people who were normal-ish are now kind of fucked up or, toxic from, the pandemic and what it did to them mentally.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
now I'm almost a normie. Like it's evening
The
out, and
pendulum
I'm like,
swings.
wow, I
It's one of
feel
those bell
normal
curves,
for
right?
the first
Yeah.
time
Welcome.
ever in my life.
Yes.
Welcome to
We're not failing
our
because we're all
world.
failing.
We're all going down with the ship, so
Yeah, exactly.
might as well hang out.
Yep.
No, and I feel like so with the pandemic, like, it was kind of like, and I don't know what your experience was, but like I was producing stuff and I was doing all the things, and then I was living with the person one of the people that organizes Pride, so we were like all like festival house, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it was like buy everything, and it was just like this weird. So like that was pretty traumatic for me, and I
Learn
already
with your
knew.
thoughts.
Yeah, and I already knew how to deal with trauma though. So I was like, oh shit, trauma. Okay, what do we do? And then you go into like trauma mode, and for me, I go into crisis mode, and I can fix the trauma, but there's no fixing this trauma. You know what I mean?
Well,
And so that was like a huge thing.
I think the thing was that, we realized how important it was to be able to sit with yourself. Because I think before that, it was just like, oh, I had a rough day. I'll just go hang out with my friends. Oh, I had this. I'll just go here. I'll just go to the park. I'll just go to and it's like, once
distraction.
Exactly.
Yes.
Once it became like, you have to figure this out by yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
then
scary.
it was, oh, wow, I guess I actually do need to take care of my mental health. So,
This woman tweeted at the very beginning of the pandemic, and I'll never forget it. She was like, you guys, I just realized I'm nothing but going shopping and going out to eat. Like,
Oh,
she
that's my
just
whole life.
didn't even
That's
know,
perfect.
like,
That could be my whole life.
We're going
I'd be
to
okay with it
commercial break.
too.
Neither here nor there, everywhere or nowhere at all. It's the here, the now, Jangletown Radio. Tune in Thursdays at 8 on Shady Pines Radio.
and we are back with the smoke break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio, as well as Spotify. So you can check us out on all the platforms. Also Apple Music or iPodcast. We're on all the stuff.
Yeah,
so go ahead and check us out. This is one of my favorite parts of the show, and that is the joke break. So we're going to go ahead and draw one of these cards, which you can now see for the first time. Oh, that's backwards. All right, so what's the most unlikely thing that has ever happened in your life?
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Dang.
man,
Most unlikely.
these are real.
Who starts? Is it going on?
Let's
mean,
see.
whoever wants to
Who's-
jump
who's
in, I
got
guess.
it?
Most unlikely?
Yeah,
I'll
most
say
unlikely.
Getting married to a white cis male and having 2 children. I never thought that I was going to have kids, but
Okay.
when I was 23, I got baby fever really bad, and I was like, I need to have children right now. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, because I was always like a little punk little brat who thought that I was never going to get married or have kids. I wasn't one of those people who had a book with all of their wedding plans and everything. I didn't even know that was a thing until
It's
later.
so surprising, because like whenever I see you, sharing videos and stuff, like you look like you enjoy it so much that I wouldn't have thought.
Well,
that
I
it
do
wasn't part of
enjoy
the
it.
plan. Yeah,
I like my kids. I don't really love other
Yeah, right.
kids. My kids are great.
that's fair. No, that's really wow. Okay, fair enough. All right, learning a little bit about everybody here. Okay, what about you, Belinda?
Oh, I was gonna say your brain makes a chemical, so you like your kids.
Yep. Oxytocin. If it wasn't for that, Pitocin.
If it wasn't for that oxytocin,
Leave them in a park.
Boy, there-
don't overturn Roe v. Wade, because
yeah.
let her be your no.
Yeah, I'll be a nanny. I'm a babysitter. I'll take care.
Oh, I mean, oh, you know what? One of the most unlikely things that ever happened to me was I went to Vegas in 2008, and I ended up talking to these guys that were very colorfully dressed outside of a venue where the Pointer Sisters were about to play. It ends up that they were members of George Clinton and the Funkadelic.
Okay.
Sans George Clinton was not there. And so we started talking to him, and then about a half hour later, I ended up singing "I'm So Excited" with the Pointer Sisters on stage.
Wow.
That's
That's
awesome.
That's
Hell yeah.
It was
crazy.
really
Hell
fun.
yeah.
That's
That's
badass.
crazy.
Life is wild sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
What's like your background with like singing? Is that something that you've like always been doing?
Oh, me? Yeah. I was a singer before I was a comic. I've been a blues, soul, R&B singer for like a really long time, and country and stuff. I can sing whatever. But yeah, I really love singing. I actually, I don't know if you've heard anything about the vagus nerve and depression. Have you ever heard about it?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, so there's a nerve in your body. It's called the vagus nerve, and it's
Like Las
literally
Vegas?
Yeah, kind of
Okay,
like it's
okay.
your Las Vegas nerve.
Okay.
It's just a slot machine. You can just
Yeah.
no, but
Ding, ding, ding.
but anyway, it goes through your body. It's a central nervous system,
Uh-huh.
sympathetic nervous system thing, and it's activated actually by singing and also humming and like a few other things. It's
Okay.
one of the
Isn't
reasons
it
why
like a pleasure
chanting.
nerve? It's like
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why chanting is spiritually activating because
Okay.
because you're activating the vagus nerve. They're looking all into it. You should Google it because it's pretty cool.
I'm definitely going to. That's
But
interesting.
yeah, but one of the things that is activated by the vagus nerve is activated by is singing. So anyway, so I've always been a really active singer, and then a few years ago I read about that, and then I have just been like obsessively singing for like now for a few years.
Sure.
But yeah, so anyway, so I started with the bands and started in Austin. I sang in bands in Austin, and that's how I got into improv, was being around like the 6th Street kind of
yeah,
vibe, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I started an improv class, and so I met a bunch of people. Tom Booker was my improv coach, and I met just a ton of people in comedy in Austin, and so I ended up doing stand-up, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. Yeah,
Great.
no, that's
It's all kind of
that's-
led together, sort of. You starting.
Yeah,
with
I mean, the
one,
only
two,
way
three,
that I
four.
got-
background.
Huh?
It's just like a very wide entertainment background.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, I
you
think
weren't
it's-
just doing one thing.
I think it's because it's funny is I tend to do one thing at a time. That's the problem. I'm now into dancing. I'm now into, you know,
Mhm.
but like, I think that, I think that I kind of grew up in here where in Portland, there's not a huge live music scene outside of like alt music or
That's fair.
indie
Yeah,
music.
totally.
And then there's a lot of drag. So that's kind of like how I got into like performing in like clubs
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
through like drag and singing, you know? And
Mhm.
so it's just kind of been a slow
Yeah.
evolution.
Yeah. So did
Yeah.
you do drag too? Were you like in the drag shows?
Yeah, I had a title. So yeah,
Oh,
so I was
cool.
Miss
Very
Leather
cool.
like way back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Maybe that's where I
Um,
saw you.
And
It's like, you look familiar.
no, this is like back you probably saw me through stand up honestly because this is back like in the 90s. Like this is like 96, 97.
Yeah, I wasn't really watching drag back then, but
Right.
wish I was.
I mean, but yeah, so this is like 96, 97 that I did like that kind of drag. And then I did drag at the Embers, which was on
Oh, yeah,
Broadway
yeah. I
and
remember that place.
Burnside.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. So back in the day, like, you know, in the early, you know, really the gay community kind of like, there's a lot of things that kind of withered with the internet and being popular, you know?
Mhm.
And one of them is like centralized gay spots. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like we have gay bars that are like one-offs, you know, or whatever. We have like a little corner now, but like it used to be that entire like all the way up to 13th and Stark was all queer, you know.
Mhm.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So I performed in drag clubs throughout like you know that area and stuff like that for years and years and years before I was.
That's cool though, because
Sure.
it seems
Yeah.
like one thing that you got into kind of led to another. So they all
Nice.
kind of
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
kinda what
know,
happened,
like
too.
connecting the dots. Kind of, it's
Yeah.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
When a door opens, you just go for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then another one.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda? What's the most unlikely thing that has happened in your life?
Okay. I am definitely like a go with the flow kind of person. Like if something presents itself or if I want to do something, just go and see what happens. But I left Vancouver, Washington to go to Chicago to do Second City. And I got a job through like transferring Pete's Coffee. I was able to have a job. And it was like 10-minute walk from Second City. So I was able to do improv. So that all was just like stacked up perfectly. And then I got a school bus, and that was from someone, a comic in Portland, and like drove it like back to Chicago, lived there, drove it back through. And my plan was to like tour and visit my sister for her 21st and like live in LA in the van on the beach. And that's what I wanted to do. And of course, the universe was like, okay, bitch. And my bus broke down back in Vancouver. And I felt like a huge loser just because that's not where I wanted to be. And I was like, you know, I wanted to move forward. I felt like a huge step back. But then I ended up getting an apartment, which was a remodeled complex that I used to live in. My family first moved to Vancouver when I was 12. So I'm like literally right back where I started from. and I just kind of fell in love with the Portland comedy scene, which was nowhere on my radar at all. And so it's just funny how you leave home to do all these wonderful things, and then it brings you right back where you started, and you can see that as a loss. But the reality is like, no, you did all those things to come back to where you started, but as a better person with more experience and more
Definitely.
growth
Oh,
and
sure,
more
sure,
opportunity.
yeah,
So
sure.
if someone would have told me that when I was like in Chicago, I'd be like, no, I would have been such a brat. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And now I'm just like, oh, silly bitch. Like, it's cute how it all works out. So I'm grateful for those things that you would not have planned or maybe were resistant to, because they do lead to some other part of you and your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
When I moved, I mean, I know I just left Portland, but when I moved from Portland to Austin, it was like that.
Mhm.
Like I came back with all of these new skills because I was producing shows in Austin and stage managing, and the drag and comedy scene there at that time was just bustling. It was really awesome. And so I, took a lot of musical improv, took a lot of whatever, took a lot of groundling stuff and like whatever.
Mhm.
And Tom is got trained by Del Close, so he's like
yeah.
second generation,
Mhm.
Second City.
Yeah, totally.
And so I learned a ton from him and whatever. And so I brought it back, and then that's where I started producing shows here, and that's what led to the festival. Was my
Hell yeah, it's all connected.
shows and stuff.
I
It
love
all
it.
is connected.
It really
and
is.
That's kind of how I've always thought of entertainment in general. For me, is everything is kind of interwebbed into this one central point, but like everything's kind of like works together.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
Yeah.
Zane, what about you? What was your most unlikely thing?
My unlike mostly event. Okay, here we go.
Unlike
my
mostly?
most,
There we
my
go, nailed
most
it.
unlikely event, I guess, was probably about 11 years ago. I had gotten busted with crystal methamphetamines, and I was like, oh man, my life is over. And so I went to like a drug rehab thing, and I was just like, I'm just gonna sign myself up because they're gonna make me go here anyways. And as I was walking out of there was this guy who was just like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm walking out of fucking rehab, homie. How do you think I'm doing? And he's just like, well, dude, I could either get you a job doing stringing guitars down in San Francisco for like my uncle. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And he's like, or I could get you a job teaching English in China. And I was like, man, I want to get out of this town, but I don't know if I want to get that far out of this town. And the more I thought about it, I was just like, you know what? Why not? Like, why not? Like, this is how many other people are going to get this opportunity, let alone this opportunity after what had happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was such a like, things had to line up and you had to be in the right place at the right time, and you had to be open to the experience for it to happen the way that it did. Like, I never would have thought. I remember I was in school learning Spanish, and my teacher told me I was an idiot and I was never going to learn another language.
That's
so
not a nice teacher.
not a nice teacher. Yeah, it was the same dude who was Biggie Small's teacher. It was like said you'd never amount to nothing. It was all a dream. And then I woke up. But he just wasn't very encouraging, and I hated languages for that reason. I never really had any plans of ever going abroad. I never really had any plans on going to China, especially. And it was like 2012, I remember, and I was like, well, the world's gonna end. I might as well, go somewhere cool when it does.
Maybe it did.
So
we all thought the world was gonna end then.
I
That's
didn't know it was gonna end.
Yep.
I was like, we're stuck here.
The
I don't know
Mayan
what you're
calendar is
thinking.
telling it.
Yeah.
So it must be
I
true.
had ended the world party with Christine Levine that year.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. But it was, I don't know, it was one of those things where I feel like, really you just kind of have to be open to just other possibilities, because I feel like we just kind of get it in our head that like things have to be the way that we planned them, and then when they aren't the way that we planned them, they're wrong. Instead of being different, they're wrong. And I feel like, just kind of being open to like, hey, this wasn't part of my plan, but this doesn't mean it can't be an awesome adventure, or it can't be something new, or it can't be. So I'm talking out of my ass. I freak out whenever anything goes different. I mean, wrong, but
I know.
But I
used to
feel
date.
like all of these experiences that we've had have been positive, like these unlikely experiences that we've had, and the key to that is going outside of our comfort zone and going with the flow. That'll lead you to a positive experience that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, you're open to new things.
This is make me sound like Oprah, but have you read The Year of Yes? Because
I've heard of it. I heard it was good.
It's pretty good, yeah. But that's the thing, is that the more things you say yes to, I mean, think about your own safety and like your own plan stuff. Like, don't just like be like yes, and then,
I'll go there, no gas.
Yeah. But think about it and be like, oh, I'd like to do this thing, and say yes to stuff, because like you'll be like, I wouldn't have thought at the beginning of comedy that I would have pulled off the festival that I pulled off.
Yeah,
sure.
Like it just was. It was like I grew up when I first came out. There was still domestic partnerships. And so I mean that was only
Only way you can
not
really
that
get.
long ago.
it was only 2015 when gay marriage was legalized.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but
it's
when I
hard to
came out,
believe.
there was domestic
So
partnerships,
nuts.
and New York Times wouldn't publish the domestic partnership announcements in the New York Times. They
Mhm.
had a whole argument about it, and they would only publish marriage announcements,
Mhm.
and that just made me mad. So when the festival was written up in the New York Times,
Mhm.
that's made me really proud because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a huge
Mhm.
like
A huge
they,
point
you
of
know
pride.
they wrote like
Definitely.
2,000 words or whatever about about a queer festival. Like that was a big deal,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but that's the progress that we're making. But that's the thing is that now we're dealing with this whole Supreme Court thing, with Roe versus Wade, and I do believe that they're probably going to overturn Roe versus Wade. I'm just preparing for it. If that does
Yeah.
not end up being true, great. But then also, but that then undermines the same-sex marriage ruling as well. In a lot of ways, which I won't get into right now. And so that really endangers a lot of different rulings that they could then say are unconstitutional
Mhm.
and that they undermine the Constitution. So therefore they are
10 seconds.
Right.
illegal. So yes, so call your congressman.
Yes.
point.
Fuck
Amen.
yeah.
We're going to take a commercial
I just
break.
did the. I just
Yeah,
did the
we
thing.
are.
I just did the
Like,
thing.
you stop that. That's mine.
Shady.
Put my hands down.
Hi, little nubbins. It's me, Space Ghost. When I'm not rubbing my tubbin on a hug-a-bumpin', I'm listening to Zach himself right here on Shady Pines Radio on a little medium we like to call Bridge City Passages on Thursday nights.
9 p.m. Bridge City Passages on Shady Pines Radio.
And we are back with the Smoke Break. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Amanda Lynn Deal,
Hi, friends.
Carissa Dez,
Hi.
and Belinda Carroll.
Belinda Carroll, who stood up because they didn't know it was that short of a break.
Well, we're actually lucky enough. We're at our very last portion, and it's one of my favorite parts. And it's just asking the question, what are you excited for? What are you
Oh.
excited for? So
Should've
let's start
known.
with Carissa, and we'll move our way down.
Can we start on that side?
Absolutely. Let's
Okay,
start
to
with
think
Amanda.
about it.
Okay.
And we'll work our way back.
Okay. I am excited for sobriety. It's only been like I don't want to say it's only been because that seems like whatever.
Undermining.
It has been a successful. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow.
Hey.
That's
And
awesome.
I honestly never thought that was something I could do with entertainment and
Yeah.
with the pandemic. Definitely leaned real hard into drugs and alcohol to cope with a lot of stress and just uncertainty in life. And I fucking love it. And I know that, Zane hasn't been drinking in, what was it, almost 2 years now?
Yeah, year and a half.
Okay.
Coming up
And
on
then
2
Belinda,
years.
you've been sober for a while as well, yeah?
7 years.
7 years. Fuck
Wow,
yeah. And
yeah,
it's
hell
nice to have those people in my community. I don't know, Des, if that's something that,
I was sober for 6 months.
Okay,
but I'm not
yeah.
anymore.
whatever.
You were sober
And
for
I went
6
through
months.
several times of being sober for like 6
Yeah,
7 months
same,
at a
Yeah,
time.
same. I
same,
need like
same.
a year
And then-
sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends on.
and we
how
all,
hard it was
kind of take like those breaks. So maybe it's forever, maybe it's short term for right now. I don't actually know, but I just know that I'm just taking it a day at a time. And so I don't have like a specific goal. But in the past, I was like, oh, sober October, it's a month. But I couldn't do it for a month because for some reason that
You
time
shithouse at
thing
the end.
that
There's
time
too
thing
much
kind of fucked
pressure.
me up because it was like, it's a pressure thing. And also
Mhm.
I would feel terrible if I didn't go the whole month. Like I would go 10 days is the longest.
Yeah.
So this is about
You
the
put too much
longest.
pressure on like
Exactly.
reaching the goal, and then if you don't reach
Yep.
the goal,
Then
you're
you feel like
yeah.
a loser or a failure. And to me, it's like it's just about taking a day at a time and also proving to myself that I still can be funny, I still can be social, I still can have fun, I still can go to parties, I can still be with my friends, and I don't need
But
it.
can you dance?
Oh fuck yeah!
Huh?
I went to a
Okay,
dance.
okay,
Yeah,
goddamn, all right,
I went to
pause.
comedy prom last Sunday and fucking cut a rug, baby. I started some dance parties. So
I am a better dancer, and I also am a better socializer, and I also am funnier, and I'm also
Wow.
more productive, and I'm
Mhm.
also more successfully productive
Yeah.
without alcohol.
same. I've been noticing that as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that so you'll have you develop as you go too. So it's like whatever you feel right now, you'll feel like 10 times that. in
Oh, I'm
5
so excited.
years,
I'm
you know
feeling
what
that
I mean?
every day is every day. I'm feeling that kind of build up.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. Thanks.
So, yeah. You'll have a good time. Like I feel like I got sober 7 years ago. I'm only standing up because my foot fell completely asleep.
And because you're the front man of our band.
Hey, this is.
You actually do look like a band. I
Yeah, I
really
know.
need to
I'm into
That's
it.
what it's called,
explore
is
this a
queer
little more.
exposure. This is queer exposure. We're
About to
dying
flash my
of it.
tits, but it might be inappropriate.
I mean, anything
They're not gonna
goes,
give
right?
us
That's
a
what you
video
said.
podcast.
I know. All right, I'll relax.
But anyway, so yeah, I just, I found that like I'm 7 years sober in October,
Hell yeah.
and I didn't do sober October. I did You're Gonna Die October, and
More
then,
dire.
and
Oh, God.
and the thing is that you have a good time until you're not having a good time anymore,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
and so but then I realized like there's so many things that changed as far as like just I can hear better, and there's like a lot of neurological reasons for this, but like I can hear better. I feel like I have a better ear musically. I feel like that I have a larger cognitive ability,
Mhm.
and I feel like that like you don't wake up with hangovers and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so I enjoy that. But,
Yeah. What are you currently excited for, Belinda?
Well, I'm going to celebrate 7 years sober in October.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And then also, I am doing Dyke March right after this.
That is
so
true.
as soon
Hell
as I
yeah.
leave here, I'm going to go downtown Portland at 5:30 at NATO Parkway and Harvey Milk. We're not live streaming this anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
you're excited for it.
you missed a party. So
Yeah. or you'll see Belinda
Hopefully
there.
you're
And
Yeah, hopefully you were there. Yeah, exactly. You
Hell
can be
yeah.
like,
you
"I
see
was
me
I
there.
saw her."
Say hi in retrospect. I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly. Say hi in the
Oh, it's
past.
that girl.
Yeah.
All right.
What exactly had you so excited about going to this march?
Oh, it's the first March since 2019.
Oh,
Yes.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Coming
So
back.
we didn't have any pride. So we had the first year.
Nobody
we
was
had
proud for a couple years.
Oh, we're ashamed of life.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
government.
I'm telling you, the
And our
pandemic,
silence.
is
I
the
was
pandemic is the first time I've ever lived like I was straight. Like, because there's no gay bars, there's no nothing.
Cottage core.
And I'm
That's
telling
what
you,
we all did.
no, that was
You
the
need
most
to look it
boring
up.
shit I've ever experienced, man. I was like, do not take being gay away from me, because that's apparently the only excitement I have. That was just like, are you serious? Like every day you got to just go to work and come home? Like what the hell is
Gross.
that?
Bread.
Oh,
just
man.
eat
Have a garden.
Straight bread.
Straight bread.
Yeah.
Did you mean
Straight bread. It says straight bread on the
That was-
package.
that
Go
was
with
It's
it,
meant
go
to.
with
it. That gay
She thought
bread.
it was cool. And then which piece I meant to.
His bread is straight.
God damn it.
White and straight. I fucking hate this.
It's all gluten. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Des? What are you excited for?
Well, like I said, I recently started taking antidepressants
Hell yeah.
and started doing talk therapy, and I'm feeling great. I haven't been depressed in over a month now.
Yay,
Awesome.
that's wonderful.
Yes. And I'm just excited to do the things that I have been doing already, but with a different mindset
Oh, yes.
and
I get that
not
one.
feeling like shit while I'm doing them.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm really excited about is Zane recently quit his job. Are you okay with me saying
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So now we get to go to shows together and network with artists to
Yes.
get on our show off the cuff, which is also something that I'm excited about.
Yes.
Check it out.
Always.
Actually, you can't plug that show on here. No, I'm
Oh
just
shit!
We
Just
can. We
kidding.
can cross
Don't-
them. I'll allow it. As if I was
But
You
yeah,
have to
that's
clear
what
it
I'm
with
excited
Amanda.
about.
fine.
Being able to go to shows, being able to talk to artists,
Yeah.
and all that. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I saw you were at a show last night.
yeah, Starfucker. I got tickets last minute,
Oh, that
and
sounds so fun. I love them.
yeah, I wasn't gonna do anything, but I was like, free tickets, gotta go.
Sold,
It was
sold.
amazing.
That's how I
Very
think
fun.
about most things.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's saying yes. and
Like
being
the tickets
yeah.
free, great.
Yeah, let's do it. Exactly.
No, that's super dope. That's super dope.
Zane,
but
what are
I
you
know, I know. I'm
excited
trying to stall.
for?
I'm excited for. I'm excited to have quit my job.
Yes, I
yeah.
love encouraging people to quit their jobs.
Yes,
You know that.
quit your fucking job.
Yeah,
I'm all
absolutely.
about
Especially
it.
if you're a police officer. So
Yeah.
Is that
You
okay to say?
especially.
Is that
Oh,
okay to say?
absolutely, yeah. We're actually sponsored by the PPD.
By ACAB.
I quit.
Yeah, for real. But yeah. Amanda had encouraged me a couple of years ago to quit my last job because I was working at the same place, the carpet cleaning place, and she goes, "Hey, did you come here to clean carpets or to perform?" And I was like, "Good point."
Yeah, because you're
yeah.
working late nights. You're working the graveyards a lot of
Yeah,
times, and you're tired
graveyards.
and stressed out and
Yeah.
couldn't get time off work.
I'm still
It's like,
stressed
bro,
out and tired, but you know,
Yeah.
on my own time.
little happier.
No one stresses me out but me now.
Exactly.
I'm the reason. Not this fucking job. Not these shitty
No,
carpets.
Well, for real, it was just like I was fighting with my friend Taylor, and we were just getting, and he used to be on this podcast, but we were getting in these fights of, I'm just like,
You
why
work
am I
too-
getting
yeah.
stressed out about this job when it's like this job doesn't care about me. You
No
know
shit,
what I mean?
they'll
Like,
replace you.
why do
Just
I
like the
care so-
carpets were
Absolutely.
replaced.
Why do I care so much about? Why do I care so much about something that doesn't care that much about me? And it's I think it's just kind of reallocating your time and your energy and putting it into things that you are getting a return in energy. You are getting a return in just getting so much more back from it. So I'm excited for that. That was really dope. Last night, Amanda Taylor, Brian Bigsby, and Logan Lockmiller, we all went to my hometown.
Piled in Zane's car. I was sweating in all these boys.
Yeah,
Get over, boys. Yeah.
all
in the
over my
middle
back
seat.
seat.
I
Yeah.
was.
Where deodorant?
Oh, I didn't. I bought some at the gas station, Belinda.
Yeah.
That's real. I was
She
like,
bought
this
some
is
at
for
the
you
gas
guys. I
station.
put some under my tits and everything. Sweating so
I was
hard.
just wet with it. I'm like, you guys don't like it?
I should have done that thing at
Sorry.
the movie theater, like, I put my
Yeah.
arms around both of them. My armpit hair is just tickling their shoulders.
On my shoulder. Yeah.
What's wrong, guys?
Yeah. Does that make you uncomfortable,
I got
baby?
plenty of room now.
Just man spreading in the middle
I
seat.
mean, that's probably happened to you a lot,
Yeah,
so why not
yeah.
give
Oh, yeah.
back?
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely. Return the favor.
Evening it out.
Reciprocal energy.
But yeah, so we did that show. And here's the deal: like, I didn't honestly do that well, and probably the last couple sets since I've quit my job have not gone that well. Which
The
I
pressure,
think is almost
probably.
I think it might be the pressure, but I
That
think
you
it's,
put on yourself.
yeah. Well, I think it's almost like more important to like. We have this idea of like how it's all supposed to work out. And I think when we finally start putting all of our energy into something, it's like, okay, well, now that I'm trying it entirely, I'm going to get that energy back. And it's like, you need that energy to not be returned. So that way, you know how much you want to do it,
Oh, that's
It-
an interesting concept.
Well,
Yeah.
because it's like if everything were just going my way, then I'd be like, yep, everything's supposed to. But it's like because I had like a bad set, for lack of a better term.
It wasn't
Um,
bad,
a
but you were
bad set-
nervous.
yeah.
That I could tell.
I had a not a great set at Amanda's other mic, and then I had a not a great set when I went to Burns or whatever, and it was just like I don't know, I just needed to be like, okay, this isn't perfect every time, and that's the most important thing that you have to know, like especially with comedy, is that like you don't kill every single time. Sometimes there are bombs, and you have to just accept that and be like, that's part of the process.
Well, you have to bomb in a way, because I've definitely bombed, and it's painful every time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I bombed my last set right before we went into lockdown because I was so. I mean, first off, there was like 6 people in the venue. Everybody was sitting like way far apart. Everybody's all freaked out,
Yeah. Scared of each other.
Scared of everything,
Yeah.
and excuse me. And even that time, I was like, I'm done with this now. Like, there's a pandemic. This is happening. This set sucks. So I'm done, And so I kind of went into the pandemic that way, just thinking like I'm done. And then I did end up that it was not true.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I've talked to so many comics who were like, "Oh yeah, I quit comedy for a while." I was like, "Was it during the pandemic?"
Yeah, we
They're
all
like,
quit
"Yeah,"
for a
and I'm like,
minute.
"Well, that's not quitting. That's
Yeah.
just like being forced to stop."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's taking.
Did you
the
do Zoom
breaks that I did.
shows?
I
no.
did
I
one
was
of
gonna
them.
ask about that.
So painful.
I
I didn't
Yes,
like
I
it.
did.
Zoom,
It felt like
ugh.
bombing into the void.
Yeah.
Bombing is hard
Yeah.
enough. I couldn't hear people laughing, and that's like a big part of it. Is like you kind of feed
Yeah.
off that
Energy.
noise, and
Yeah.
if you can see their faces moving, like I guess that's a laugh. But if you can't, I don't know. I didn't like
Yeah,
it.
or you can just see them staring at you. So
Mhm. Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of comics were at home kind of harnessing their energy and using all these bad experiences hopefully to write jokes. Is that true?
I didn't write shit. I didn't do shit. I just drank and did drugs and fucked a lot. I'll be honest.
But did it help
but-
you with content now in your shows? So you're like, that was really shitty. Now I have something more to talk about.
It helped me
or-
lean into my weirdness, my natural weirdness, because like I was
Same.
homeschooled. I always make voices for my pets. I made a whole like voice and character in life for my dog, and I still it bleeds into everyday life.
it's
But I
Who
Everybody
knows?
should
I
do
could lead to a
that.
cartoon someday.
Yeah,
you
no,
don't
for
know.
real, and I've
Yeah.
thought about that too. But it just like it made me kind of like I was scared of the world, but I didn't have the judgment of other people, so I was able to
Mhm.
be like my dorkiest self, and I think that was
That's
actually
kinda
really
fun.
healing.
I
So
think most people
Did you
started
work
talking to
during the
themselves
pandemic?
for the first
No.
time.
for sure.
I did.
mm-mm.
I didn't do the $600 unemployment. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And
I was living off that government cheese, baby.
I decided I worked for Multnomah County for the homeless shelter, which was great. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't get to stay home for the whatever.
Oh, for the time.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
should have been like, yeah, but I didn't.
No, I tried to file for unemployment and then it didn't go through and they were just like, oh, type it back in again. And I was like, you know what? I'll go to work.
Yes, I'm just too
I'm
lazy to get
I'm too
unemployment.
lazy to get unemployment.
Yeah.
That's
You're like,
all.
I'm not jumping through all these hoops. I'll
Yeah.
just go to work.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I was like, I've worked 3 jobs my whole life. I'm getting this fucking money. Like,
Yeah.
Mama needs a break.
No, for real. And I did get a little bit of a break, but not very much. But it was like a big adjustment for sure. We're gonna be like, yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to find out what happens next.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's so
absolutely.
many things coming, and going with the flow is a big part of it. I think like that's something Zane and I tell each other, especially during like festival season or like competition season, is just have fun. And like you were saying, that show in Eugene, you didn't have high expectations, you had fun, crushed it. You had high expectations for your hometown show last night. You were nervous, and that's why you felt you didn't do your best. So
This
just
is what we're
have fun,
saying.
be open,
Keep your expectations low.
and keep
Just
your
keep
fun
them-
high.
Just no expectations.
Yeah.
Go with the
honestly,
flow, step out of
zero's
your
great,
comfort
everything
zone.
Steps above that.
Like,
Yeah, what I learned is just, like I said, stepping out of your comfort zone, going with the flow, like you
Yep.
guys said, will get you places. Don't go
Yes.
too far out of your comfort zone like I did and have to reel yourself back in. But
That's okay,
I don't
it
know,
happens.
Learn by experience,
Yeah.
though, too.
Yeah, this has been such a fun episode. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
great time.
both
Thanks
of
for
you
inviting me
being
on.
on here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you both for
As-
joining me.
I was kind of nervous to, help or to be a guest on a show because I'm so used to being a host. I was
host.
like, I don't know what
That
I'm going
was
to say,
nice
but it was
having
really
you.
fun. I had a lot of fun.
I always love to hear that about the episode. So yeah, thank you both for joining me. This has been the Smoke Break. This has been our first video episode. So check it out on
Yeah.
YouTube if you're not already doing that. I've been your host, your old pal Zane, here with Amanda Lindeal,
Bye, friends.
And
Carissa
Carissa Dez.
Oh, look at that,
Nice.
and Belinda Carroll.
Hi, bye.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.